Hi, everybody. I hope everything's going well today with the sub. I'm super sorry that I'm still out. These are those trainings that I was telling you about, but today is the last one for a while. So the trainings continue in February, but at least this is the last one for now. So miss being with you guys. So I'll be back every day here coming up shortly. So I appreciate you being good for the sub and getting lots of things done today because your test is next class. Today is the official review day. So what you should have been working on up to this point is, let me double check my agenda here. You should have gotten done, hold on. The formative, right? Formative on organelles. You got that one done now that you feel a little bit better about your organelles, what they are and what they do. So organelle formative you did, you checked your study guide key already. That was your bell ringer. The study guide key is in Schoology if you, for some reason, didn't do that. What else? You went through your pre-quiz and saw how prepared you are for the test next class. Remember, the pre-quiz is going to be open for you to take multiple times if you want to do that. Certainly feel free to do that. And now you are up to the point where you're listening to this cell analogy project. You've seen cell project written up on the important board for a little while now. And the final due date is, let's scroll down. The final due date for this project that I'm going to present to you right now is on the 18th for A day and the 21st for B day. So what that is all about, let's read through the top just to kind of introduce it. All I'm doing today with the cell analogy project and all I'm expecting you to do today is just know that we have a project coming and to kind of get thinking about it, because the next few days after the test, we're really going to get into cell analogy project and give you a couple work days, in-class work days to get a lot done on that. So hopefully you don't have too much of it to do at home. So here's what the cell analogy project is all about. I'm going to read the directions here. I'm not passing out the packets just yet. I'm not having the sub pass out the packets just yet because I want to be here as you work through that just to make sure you're doing everything correctly, and I'm here for any questions. Today's just a thinking day. So cell analogy project, the directions are that you will create a plant cell. So my block 3, 4, you guys are doing a plant cell. My other blocks, you do have a choice of animal or plant. So there's a little bit of a difference. If you're 3, 4 block, you're going to do plant cell. If you are 5, 6, or 7, 8, you have a choice. So you're going to be doing a cell of some sort. Those are eukaryotic cells, right? Plants and animals are eukaryotic cells. Then you will choose an analogy to compare the actual function of the plant cell organelles to something else. The analogy theme must be consistent with each organelle. Some analogy examples are like a house, city, factory, smartphone, school, sports team, etc. So this formative checkpoint, this whole packet is considered your formative checkpoint, the work that you do leading up to your final project. So this formative checkpoint will be the template and information that you will use for the final summative part of the project. There are going to be no retakes on this cell analogy project. It is a summative. So it's important that you get feedback on part 1 and 2, which is here in this packet. So I'll kind of scroll through so you can see. So again, timeline. Today is the 9th. I didn't introduce it last class because I'm trying to separate it from the test just a little bit. I want you to focus on one thing at a time. Right now, the next most important thing coming up for you is going to be the test, right? So I did push this off just a little bit. So we're here on the 9th, and all you're doing, like I said, is you are thinking about a cell analogy project. You're thinking about which analogy you would like to do. Next class, when I'm in here, you do have your test followed by some work time to do your project. I'll pass out this packet for you and you'll start working through it after your test next class. Then the following class, you have an entire block, 90 minutes for questions to work through this packet and hopefully finish out this packet in those 90 minutes. And then possibly start working on the final project, which will be submitted the following class day. So this 16th and 17th is really going to be a big one where hopefully we get a lot done. So that's the plan. We're kind of building up to that. So again, the 9th is a thinking day. 10th and 11th, you have your test, followed by hopefully some time to work on the project. And then the class after that, you have a full 90 minutes to work on the project. The 18th and 19th, you're going to come in with your final project done. There's no more in-class work time to be working on that project. Okay. So when I say doing parts 1 and 2, these are your planning parts where you start thinking about the organelles that are in your cell. Some of the classes do have to write in the definitions, so you'll see what packet you have. And then when I say analogy, so I didn't really describe what an analogy is just yet. So when I say analogy, let's say you pick, what were some of the examples? You pick a plant cell and you want your plant cell to be like a school, okay? So plant cell is like a school. Let's see. I'm going to go to nucleus. So a plant cell is like a school because, and I want to compare the organelle to something inside a school. So we know the nucleus is the brain. We kind of think of it as the brain. It's the control center. It's the thinking. It does all the thinking. It tells the cell what to do. So if you compare a nucleus to something within a school, who does all the thinking? Who's the boss? Who's the controller of the school? You're probably thinking principal, right? So the nucleus is like A, and you would write principal. Because they both, what do they have in common? That's what these lines are for. So that as we work through and use some class time to start thinking about those things, what dates you're going to start doing that. Not today, you're not filling out the packet today, but in the next few classes, you'll be thinking through these things and filling out all the analogy parts, right? So a nucleus is like the principal because they both control the nucleus controls what goes on in the cell, and the principal controls what goes on in the school, right? So that's where we are, and you'll go through all the other organelles as well and compare those organelles. You'll stick with that analogy, whichever one you choose. Now be super creative. It's totally up to you. You don't have to use the ones that I gave you as examples. Instead, maybe even today, as you brainstorm what analogy you would like to do, I know I put a link. There we go. There's a link in this packet. You should have access to this link. It's in Schoology. I'll post it in a couple places. Maybe watch this video next. You should have some headphones with you right now listening to this. There are some really great creative ideas for cell analogy projects. So start looking around, brainstorming. Maybe there's a favorite show or movie or game, something along those lines, something personal to you. I love those. Be creative as possible, coming up with something unique, so that you can compare organelles to something in that show, movie, location, game, right? So today, just think about it. Once you've kind of thought about it a little bit, maybe searched around and hopefully chose something, chose an analogy, or start thinking about the analogy that you want to use the rest of the block today to study. So in, what is it called? I'm going to switch it over. In Schoology, for today's folder, now that you've thought about your analogy, the last thing to really work on is study for your test. It's up to the sub if they want to let you move around or if it's an independent kind of study time, but you do have this review playlist you can use to get ready for the test. You have your study guide you can read over. You have, what else? You have your note packet you can go over. So however you want to prepare, listen to what the sub is telling you, but use the rest of the block to get ready for the test. Email me if you have any questions. I am next to my computer today, so I can answer you back pretty quick, hopefully. All right, have a good rest of your day, and I will definitely see you on test day. Bye, guys.